What's up, guys? Welcome back to Spoil Rotten TV. Got a very interesting story here. Um, we're back with Jesse Lee Peterson. You know how he is. He never holds back. He's very direct. He's able to uh, immerse himself into the black culture or the African American culture, as far as the positives and negatives. A lot of people don't like what he says because he's very critical of black people, but I think the reason why he does that is because he wants us to do better. He wants us to improve ourselves. And the only way we're going to do that is if someone's brutally honest with us. And Jesse, if he's anything, he's brutally honest. So this case came up, or this, I don't know if it was a case. It's more of a series of events unfolded on a national news network. Actually, I think what was it? I don't know if it's one of the big ones. He's going to explain it for me. I don't want to say which one it is, and then I end up looking like an idiot. But it's one of the big ones, and all they were really trying to do was inspect this Denny's that most likely got a lot of complaints about roaches and rats and whatever. And when you go to a Denny's, especially like any of these franchises with your family, you go there with the expectation that they're going to be clean and that you'll be able to enjoy your meal without worrying about, like, a creepy crawly running across the table. So this Denny's in specifically, um, obviously didn't meet that standard. So I'm gonna let Jesse take it from here, and then I'm gonna throw in my 2 cents as the video continues.
This is from Drudge and the Atlanta Journal Constitution. Oh, this is a mess, folks. Wait till you hear this. 3 Denny's employees assaulted reporter asking about failing health scores. You know how they go to your business and they try to score A, B, C, D, F, whatever they gave you? Well, they went over to Denny's, and Lord have mercy. Lo and behold, CBS 42, restaurant report card visit ends in chaos.
So we're not going to discuss it.
You know how to be in the building.
So whoa.
Get your hands,
Hey,
get your
hey,
hands
hey.
off me. Get your hands off me.
Hey.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye.
Hey.
The news is brought here.
Come on now. Guys.
Bye.
Wow.
Bye.
So this is how
Wow,
you-
wow,
You
wow.
guys have no right.
This is how you respond to violations.
All we did was go to that Denny's. We were asking about the health inspection score.
They black.
All right.
I rest my case.
So let me say a few things about this. A little bit of footage we already saw. The only reason why these guys did that to these reporters or whoever, is because they're courteous, they're polite, they're understanding, quote unquote. If the news network sent some thugs down there to record this video, it would have been a completely different situation. The only reason why these Denny's workers had this much heart, as far as putting their hands on somebody or pushing somebody out the building, which is technically assault, the only reason why they did this is because they know that the news reporters weren't going to fight back. That's the only reason why they did this. If they sent some thugs down there to record a video of what happened, they would not have put their hands on them, because the thug is not going to care, or the goon is not going to care, regardless of their race. But they're not going to care, that you don't want them in there. If you put your hands on them, they're going to fight you back. It's going to be UFC up in there, guarantee it. But the news reporters they sent down there was they were courteous. They didn't want any trouble. They didn't want any problems. And honestly, more or less, the whole turn the other cheek, I guess, mindset did work for them, because they got the footage of them. All their faces are actually on the camera. So if they wanted to press charges, they have more or less a case to do that. And the Denny's workers should have known that, if they wanted to press charges, they have more or less a case to do that. And the Denny's workers should have known that, if they wanted to press charges, they have more or less a case to do that. The Denny's workers should have known that, if they wanted to press charges, they have more or less a case to do that. The Denny's workers should have known that before doing it. But again, the reason why they had so much heart and they decided to put their hands on the workers like that was because they knew that the reporters weren't going to fight back because I'm not going to say it's because they're white. It's because they were raised differently, or I'm not going to say that either. I'm going to say because they themselves most likely didn't want to get in trouble either. The Denny's workers didn't care. They're working at Denny's. Well, I'm not going to say that either because, I know plenty of Denny's workers. Well, I don't know them personally, but I've been to Denny's more than enough times to know that there are a lot of people who work there who are polite and, they're not going to put their hands on anybody. But these Denny's workers specifically, decided to do that. And I hope they get disciplined in some way as far as their employment goes for doing what they did because the reporters had every right to be in there. It was most likely done out of shame. And again, the reporters let it slide because they didn't want any problems. They didn't want any trouble, and they didn't want to get themselves in a situation. I don't know if it was a racial situation or whatever, but they didn't want to get themselves into a situation. So you guys, let me speak to the people watching this video now. Sometimes being nice is a good thing, well, but being too nice can be a bad thing. I would have stood my ground if someone tried to put their hands on me like that. I would have stood my ground. You can say whatever you want, but once you start pushing somebody, it's time to fight back. Obviously pick your battles. Don't fight over everything. Pick your battles, properly. Don't be don't turn into a Spartan and don't tell people that you did it because I told you to. Pick your battles. But I think if someone puts their hands on you, and it's not for a reason that's justified. Like if you were trying to assault them, then it makes sense. But if they're just putting your hands on you because they're ashamed, they're embarrassed, or they just don't want you in the store, even though you have a legal right to be there, it's time to do what you got to do. I'm not saying that you should lethally harm them, but if they push you, you stand your ground. I'm not trying to tell you to stab them or something. Don't get me involved in that. I'm just saying, like I said, pick your battles. And when someone does that, when someone tries to physically push you out of a establishment when you have every right to be there, and especially if it's not the manager, these are just the employees. That's something that needs to definitely be, taken into consideration there. That when I saw the video, what they did to these reporters, I felt disrespected, even though they weren't pushing me. I personally felt disrespected, you know, that they did that because, like the reporters said, they had every right to be there, and they're just responding to most likely the complaints they got. So I have an idea of the path Jesse Lee Peterson is going to go down with this, but I want to let him speak on it, and we're going to take it from there. But that was what those workers did, was very disrespectful, and honestly, they embarrassed themselves more than they embarrassed the reporters or anyone else.
It starts in the home, folks. A female Denny's worker called police on the news crew.
As you probably know, we report on the best and worst inspection scores every Friday night. After all, you deserve to know if it's safe to eat at your favorite restaurants.
Well, it turns out it wasn't safe for CBS 46's Adam Murphy and his photographer to go inside a Metro Atlanta Denny's.
You can get up and face.
Can we ask you, ma'am, about this? Expired deli meat stored in the cooler for customers?
Oh,
Are you
wow.
serving expired deli meat? Ma'am, don't
Wow.
touch the camera.
Don't put the camera in my face.
Hey, we need to ask
You don't need to be in
about
my
these
face.
violations.
Call police.
All right, so we're only seeing a part of the video. Well, this is another part of the video, but I don't know where the video began or whatever, but we see that the aggressor here is the woman. I'm not going to mention her race, but it is the woman who's the aggressor. And I think the reason why she's being aggressive is because she knows as a woman that she's not going to face any retaliation from these men because they don't want to be seen as, woman beaters or whatever. So she has that clout to just go ahead and, physically push these people. She feels that as a woman I can do this because, if they hit me back or they respond back to me, they're going to get in more trouble. So a lot of women out there, regardless of their race, do this.
Don't mess with the blacks. Don't make the black girl bleed. Don't make the black girl bleed. Isn't that the name of that book, James? Oh, don't make the black kids angry. Violation, according to these people, included expired deli meat, flying insects, raw eggs on bacon and cheese. Good. Here we go.
Denny's on Panola Road in Lithonia scored 52 points in a U for unsatisfactory. The health inspector busted them for expired deli meat, flying insects, and raw eggs on bacon and cheese. But these violations pale in comparison to this violation of civility.
You don't have to put the camera on nobody. Y'all can get out of here with that. Y'all can go ahead.
So we're not going to discuss
Outside.
it.
They're not supposed to be in the building.
So whoa.
Get your
Hey,
hands off me. Get your hands off me.
Hey.
Violent black people.
The news just walked in here.
Come on now. Guys.
Bye.
Wow.
Bye.
So this is how you
You guys have no right.
So this is how you respond to violations.
Amazing. Joel, have you ever eaten raw eggs on bacon and cheese?
I can't even think. I'd be so upset if I found out that there was raw eggs.
How about flying insects? Good.
That's horrible.
And don't mention expired deli meat. It has that white rotten-like form on it. Here's where a female employee curses at the crew in front of her son.
It's not the treatment even a news crew would expect from a place that calls itself America's Diner. And here's one of their employees.
My son right here, if you film me with that camera, I'ma knock your ass out. And I promise you that. My son right here,
She put it on
son,
her
don't
chin.
do that. Because I knock your ass out.
That's assault right there.
Again, not just because she's black, because a lot of women do this. It's not just black women. A lot of women, feel that they can put their hands on somebody because they're women, they can get away with it. All right, this needs to stop. It definitely needs to stop. A man most likely wouldn't do this unless he's prepared to go to prison. Women obviously don't have to worry about that.
My son right here, you.
Is that how you
Let's go,
talk?
Joey.
Is that how you talk in front of your son?
If only their kitchen was as hot as the employees, perhaps none of this would have happened.
Wow.
Child, that's normal.
She
The black mama cussing and cat on.
Yo, give him the
She
middle
cussed the
finger.
son out. He getting away. Mama.
If only their kitchen was as hot as the
Yeah, so a lot of these people working these food service positions, a lot of them just don't care. You don't dream of being in the food service industry, and being in the food service industry when you're a kid. So a lot of them choose it out of necessity because they have no options. They have no other option, and I understand the struggle. But just because you don't like working in that industry doesn't mean you can behave like this. Like, if anything, just resign from the position and just go see if you can work harder and get a position where you'll enjoy being there. Because this is going to go on the record. They're being filmed here. So if he tries to apply somewhere else, this is going to be used as evidence to not hire him. And all the other employees, the same exact thing. No one's going to want to hire someone who's going to behave like that to a national news network. It's just embarrassing. It's just a PR nightmare waiting to happen.
the employees, perhaps none of this would have happened.
Child, that's normal.
She
The black mama cussing the cat on. She cussed the son out. He getting away.
She put the food on her chin and tried to take a swing. I can't do it.
That's so black.
I can't.
Isn't that like black? He black.
I'm done.
He black. A male employee at the door takes a swipe at the camera.
What's your business here?
You want to talk to us
Do
about
you
this
have
store?
rights to record us?
Yes, we do.
Why? What are your rights?
You have a failing health inspection.
Okay, we
You want
know.
to talk about the failing
We
health
know the failing
inspection?
health inspection is up.
Hey, that's assault. That's a charge.
Well, they are black. They don't
You don't
mind us
care?
talking to you.
We're not touching you.
And another thing I want to mention here is how A lot of men, like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to the hood or any urban area. There's a lot of single motherhood in a lot of these neighborhoods. There's single motherhood everywhere, but it's extremely high in urban neighborhoods. And if you ever wonder why a lot of these men out there are just psychotic, they're very angry, and they, like, they resort to violence very quickly. 9 times out of 10, it's because they were raised by a single mother, and it's because they saw how the mother reacted to conflict or confrontation or anything like that. So the son sees the mom, like, just like you saw before with the mother hitting the camera and, like, losing her head, snapping on everybody like that. The son was there, so he's seeing that, and he's going to think that that's acceptable. So when he grows up and becomes a man, or grows up and becomes a teenager, or whatever, he's going to believe that it's acceptable for him to resort to violence, like, when he's in a situation that he doesn't like. So a lot of these quote unquote thugs in the hood that represent masculinity, or whatever, are actually the most feminine of them all. And you see how this guy here reacted. This is a man, I believe, and he immediately resorted to hitting the camera. And like the cameraman said, that is literally assault. That's a crime, what he's doing. He doesn't care because he saw his mother react like that. He sees other women around him act like that. So he believes it's okay for him to act like that. So
Health inspection.
Okay,
You want to talk about the failing health
know the
inspection?
failing health inspection is
Hey, that's assault. That's a charge.
Well, they are black. They don't
You don't
mind
care?
assaulting you.
We're not touching you.
and again, the cameramen are being very polite. If those cameramen were like from the hood, they would not be that polite. They would not be that courteous. Well, there's a lot of polite people who come from the hood, so let me stop right there. If the cameramen were ignorant, just as ignorant as they were, or just as have all that feminine energy like they do, it would be a brawl right now. It would be some type of physical confrontation. But they're being very patient.
That's a charge.
Well, they are black. They don't
You don't
mind
care?
assaulting you.
We're not touching you.
Especially if you're white. And then this last one, the police say the media were in their rights.
And I also want to say that I know I'll keep stopping the video here. Notice how when the guy said that it's a charge, you can go to jail pretty much. That's an automatic assault charge. The guy said, I don't care if I go to prison. I don't care if I go to jail. And then if they actually were to get locked up, there'll be this whole case. Oh, he didn't mean it. Find a way to give him probation or something else. But when the charge was presented to him, he's like, thug life, man. I don't give a fuck. That's hilarious. But then when that cuffs get put on, then most likely his mannerisms or whatever would change. I can't speak to this guy specifically, but the way he's behaving and the way he's, 'cause I don't know him personally, but the way he's behaving, like, a lot of, people act like that until they face a judge, and then, they want to say, oh, I was upset, I was in the heat of the moment, don't send me to prison.
Denny responded. Denny responded.
Moments later, DeKalb County Police showed up at Denny's, but not for their Grand Slam breakfast.
Y'all are good.
Officers confirmed we were well within our rights to question the restaurant, and we were not the ones in the wrong.
I received a statement from Denny's corporate office regarding the incident. They said, quote, "We are disappointed by the inappropriate and unacceptable behavior by employees." They also said, quote, "We have spoken to the franchisee at this location and he has taken immediate action to ensure the restaurant meets our high brand standards and has taken appropriate action with employees."
Oh, sure. Like, y'all, the white man, y'all don't do that. Okay, blacks, don't do that. I'm scared. I bet those white people think twice before going to another Denny's where it's all black.
Oh, man.
They'll let
Come
them
on,
eat the
Jesse.
raw meat and whatever else. AJC is reporting, the reporter said this was the most violent
Oh, man.
anyone has ever gotten. CBS 42 did not file assault charges against the employees. Instead, the station sent the raw video to Denny's corporate headquarters. Denny's did not say whether any of the employees were disciplined or fired. I can answer that. No. Child, no. They wasn't fired. They black. Ain't no white man gonna fire them. They black.
That might be the sad truth. None of the employees might have been fired because they would have filed some type of countershoot about racism or whatever, which is sad because this behavior is unacceptable. They definitely shouldn't have been behaving like that. Absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable that they're acting like this. It's really, really embarrassing for the entire black race. And the only reason why they're acting like this is most likely because the cooks back there, the people who were preparing the food, were also black. So they're most likely trying to protect them from the shame, even though now they're immortalized on this program forever. Again, the cooks there most likely were black, or majority of them were, and they were, preparing the food like this. And a lot of people, there were actually people eating inside the Denny's when the CBS reporters came to report on it, and that can be very embarrassing for somebody to be immortalized as the people working at the most disgusting Denny's in the state or the city. These employees unfortunately are going to be immortalized as that, or unfortunately going to be remembered as the people working at this dirty Denny's. And it is what it is. It's really sad, really, really sad. I don't know who the manager was. The manager should have been there. Obviously, the management at this particular Denny's is not doing their job properly. They're just hiring whoever because employees are not supposed to conduct themselves like this. Um, I'm not sure if, like I said, Jesse doesn't believe anyone got fired. They could have gotten fired, but no one knows for sure. But you know, the, this employee's behavior is unacceptable.